Hey guys, and welcome to episode number 36 of the Happy Knitting Podcast. Sorry, my computer just made a sound. I'm sorry about that. My name is Julia, and today is the 1st of May 2016. I'm coming to you from Germany, and this is a podcast about knitting and sometimes also spinning, sewing, and always lots of yarn. So I'm so glad that you're joining me today. If you're watching for the first time, then I really hope that you like it and that you will become a regular subscriber of the podcast. And if you're coming back every week, then thank you so much, guys. Really means a lot. You can find me on Ravelry as Wupfi, which is WUEPFI. And you can find me on Instagram as the Happy Knitting Podcast. We also have a Ravelry group, which is called the Happy Knitting Podcast group. And that's where I host all my knit-alongs, and I have a thread for every episode with the show notes. And yeah, we have an introductions thread and an ask away thread as well. So thank you to everyone who has introduced themselves this week. The reason why I haven't answered is because I literally just got home from a weekend trip about half an hour ago, so that's why. So today I have a little housekeeping, then knit-alongs, prizes, finished objects, works in progress, some spinning, some acquisitions. I have a question to answer and life in general. So I hope you like it. First of all, housekeeping. Last week, for the first time ever, 2 people mentioned to me that the sound was relatively quiet and they had troubles hearing me on YouTube. So that was really surprising to me because I watched it on different computers, and I usually have my sound set on 50% on my computer and I could hear it fine. But I will definitely try to enhance the sound, and I'm trying to speak up a little bit more right now. And if that doesn't help, just make sure that not only your computer volume is turned up, but also you can turn it up on YouTube, like right underneath the video. Sometimes that setting is low as well, but like I said, I'll definitely look into it because I want you guys to be able to hear me, and I know that listening to a podcast which is really quiet is super frustrating. So that's it for housekeeping, and before I go into the knitting, quick reminder, we have the Crazy Color Cal going on, which is a knit-along for anything colorful, rainbow, stripy, neon, anything that is colorful to you. And that is running until the 13th of May, which is in 2 weeks. So guys, enter your finished object. I think we have almost 50 finished objects at the moment, which is just great. And even if you're just watching and not participating, I can only encourage you to look into the threads because there's so many colorful projects in there. It's really fun. So for prizes, we have 3 prizes. The first one is this super cute bag from All About Yarn on Etsy. And it's one of those Japanese knot bags. And in here you also get a set of colorful mini skeins. These are her rainbows mini skeins, 7 skeins of 10 grams each. And they're really adorable. And she also sent her card, and with her card you get a little owl stitch marker. All About Yarn on Etsy. So that is prize number 1. The second prize is a yarn prize from She Bought Garne. That's a German yarn dyer. This is the logo. And the prize is this skein of neon yarn called Pink Elephant on her bot socks base, which is 75/25 virgin wool polyamide. And you also get a matching mini skein for heels and toes, and this one is called Xenia. It's on the same base. So that is prize number 2, and it is very colorful. I love it very much. And the third prize will be sent directly to the winner, and that is a skein of yarn of your choice on any base of OMG Yarn and Fiber, who is also on Etsy. you can have a look at her store because it's really, really awesome. And she said you can not only will you get a skein of yarn of your choice, but she will also sew up a little extra for you. So that's 3 prizes, which is really, really amazing. And if you needed motivation to enter your finished objects, then there you go. So like I said, that runs until May 13th, and all the details are in the chatter thread. Today I am drinking a caramel coffee from a swap, and it's actually really nice. So with that, I will move into finished objects. My finished object for this week is a pair of socks, and those of you who've been watching will probably know what's coming. These are my crazy colorful socks from my sock blank. So this was a sock blank from a German indie dyer called Strickoholic on Davanda, and I will link it in the show notes. And last week, I think I had just finished the heel on the second sock, which is a fishless heel, by the way. So what I did is I just finished the foot and did a rounded toe. And as you can see, these socks are not matching, which I don't mind at all. I think they look really fun together, and they're similar enough that you can still see that they're a pair. Let me just take off my shawl because I feel like it's confusing the colors. This is my Even Star shawl by Susan Pandolf, by the way. So yeah, you can see these were knit from a sock blank, but I reblocked them after knitting them, and the yarn is just like normal sock yarn now, because when you knit it straight off the sock blank, the yarn looks like this. It's very kinky. So this is how much I have left. As you can see, I tried to use most of it just because I thought it would be a shame to waste it. And I just made a knot in the end of the sock blank because I had unraveled it on both sides, and every time I was taking it out of the bag, I kept unraveling it a little bit more. So for those of you who don't know what a sock blank is, it is this piece of knitted fabric which has then been dyed, and then to knit you just pull off the strand of yarn and then you knit with it. So I knit these socks on my Knit Pro Nova Cubics DPNs 2.25 millimeters until they started, like I said last week, I think, the plating started to come off, which I thought was really disappointing because I really like these needles. So then I switched to higher sharps DPNs, and I have been loving them. So there you go. And these were knit on 60 stitches. So that's my only finished object for this week, which is totally fine by me. And I will move on to works in progress. So my first work in progress is in this bag that I made together with my sister. Just a simple bag with a handle, and it has little mice on the inside, which I think is cute. And in here I have a new cast on, which you guys haven't seen before unless you're following me on Instagram. And I have been wanting to knit more with my hand spun yarn again. So this is, excuse the DPN sticking out. This is a sock yarn that I hand spun a few weeks ago, I think. And this is where the fiber is from. It is from Elfenwolle on Etsy. She's also a German indie dyer, if you couldn't tell. This is her colorway Eispalast, and it's 67% wool, merino, and 33% nylon. So I spun this into a chain ply or 3-ply sock yarn, and I started knitting a sock with it. So let me just rearrange. So this is what I've done so far. As you can see, I've knit a lot shorter cuff than what I usually do, just because I wasn't sure if I liked the sock, to be honest. And then I added a fishless kiss heel, and now I am onto the foot. I really like how the sock is knitting up color-wise, but I twisted this yarn very high when I spun it because I wanted it to be durable, and I've made it so durable that it's kind of like bulletproof sock yarn. It is very, very sturdy. which I think will be great to wear, but honestly, I don't really enjoy knitting with it that much. Like every time I knit with it, I kind of miss my soft commercial spun yarn, which I usually use for socks, so that's why I haven't really been enjoying these as much, unfortunately, because the colors are really, really nice. So I actually thought about frogging them before I started the heel, and then I couldn't decide, so I knit the heel and figured I'd just keep going, but even though I like the colors and I like knitting with handspun, I'm just not loving them, so I'm not sure if they're going to be frogged, if I'm going to let them languish for a while. Even though I don't really want to, because that's something I never do. I'm really usually proud that I don't have any hibernating kinds of projects at all, and I feel like if I start now, that's not gonna end very well. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with these yet, but here they are anyways. I started on 64 stitches and then went down to 62, because I'm finding that 64 stitches is too big and 60 stitches is too small for my feet, depending on yarn and gauge and everything as well. So I'm trying a 62 stitch sock. And these are the higher sharps. 2.25 millimeter. I got them new last week and I've tried them lots and I love these needles to death. I think they might be my favorite DPNs now as well. I'm just very much into the higher sharps lately. Yeah. So that's that. My next work in progress is living in my Mina Makes bag, which I won from Mina, the Knitting Expat. And these are my boyfriend's socks. So the yarn I'm using is a German indie dyed yarn. It's called Frau oder Socke on Davanda, which is like German Etsy, I suppose. This is her espresso latte colorway on her 75% wool, 25% polyamide. And you can see her name here. Come on. There we go. So I think actually a viewer of the podcast suggested this yarn brand to me and I really quite like it. It's the first time I'm knitting with her yarn, but it's very affordable and I really like how it's turning out. So last week I was still working on the first sock and I finished the first sock, so I guess I have a hoe. This is where I was last week, where the stitch marker was. So as you can see, I have finished the foot, and these have been crammed into my project bag when we were traveling this weekend, so that's why they're a little out of shape, I guess. But they're just a standard sock with a 2x2 rib at the top and a fish lips kiss heel, which you know I love, and a rounded toe. So not only did I finish the first sock, I've also made quite a bit of progress on my second sock. So I've knit the entire leg and again put in the fish lips kiss heel, and I'm pretty much halfway down the foot. So I really like how these colors are knitting up. They're not my usual colors. I would never have chosen them if it hadn't been for the name Espresso Latte, which of course I love, and they are actually quite perfect for my boyfriend because they're a little bit more toned down, and I really like how it's turning out with these like thin kind of straps. As you can see, the needles I'm using are Knit Pro Zings in the 2.25 millimeter again, and again I'm knitting on 64 stitches. I have been on this quest to find the perfect sock recipe for my boyfriend, and the first couple of pairs I knit him were a little bit too large. So the last pair I knit him was out of Fana, which was a bit of a thicker sock yarn, and 64 stitches were perfect. So I thought I finally mastered it, but these ones are a little bit too small now. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. But again, anyways, they're on 64 stitches, I think they'll be fine. He really wants to keep them because I offered I might take them, I wouldn't mind wearing them. But he thinks they'll be fine, and I agree. I think once I block them, they'll be okay. And socks tend to stretch while wearing them anyways. So I hate it when I try on socks for the very first time and they fit great, and then after 2 hours they're sloppy around your feet. I hate that very much. So that's my work in progress number 2, and I've been trying to speed up on these just because he really wants them to be finished. Then I'm still knitting on my shawl design, which honestly doesn't look very different to last week's. But this is in my Diary of a Yarn Snob bag. Again, I won this from Julie, which is awesome. And like I said last week, I'm knitting my shawl design out of a German hand-dyed yarn called Das Mondschaf. And again, I will link it in the show notes, and it's just this white with brown and pink speckles. This is her merino sock base, which is so soft. I actually wanted to use this for socks, but I don't know, it's just so nice. I figured it had to be a shawl. And so I'm knitting a triangular textured shawl, I guess. And this is what it looks like at the moment. So I'm still in the textured section. There will be a different section at the bottom, obviously. I really love how the textured pattern is working with the speckles. I think it looks really neat. And yeah, it's a little bit scrunched up on the needles, but you can get an idea from the stitch marker how much I've knit this week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but there's quite a lot of stitches on the needles already. And with this stitch, essentially you don't knit every stitch, which makes it really squishy and thick, but that does mean that it takes a little bit longer to knit. So this week I figured out what I want to do for the border of the shawl. So I think now I have it all figured out. I just need to knit it, and then obviously I will need a couple of test knitters, but I really want to get this pattern closer to finishing it. And then my last work in progress, still, I was hoping this might not be a work in progress, but that's my featherweight cardigan by Hannah Fettig. Oops, and I just dropped the yarn. I'm knitting it out of Holzgarn in the Coast base. Coast is their wool and cotton blend, and the colorway I'm using is Skylight. And last week I was working on the first sleeve. I have finished the body, and this week I finished the first sleeve completely. You can see I still have the stitch markers where I increase, so I can make sure that the second sleeve is exactly the same. And these are 3/4 length sort of sleeves. Thank you for everyone who gave me their opinion when I was trying it on and I wasn't quite sure if I liked the length. And I did add a little bit of length to it. And my camera keeps on crashing. So anyways, I am on the second sleeve now. I try to force myself to work on this at least a little bit, and I have probably 2/3 down and 1/3 to go, so I really just need to sit down and finish this, and then I have to do the button band or collar, I guess. It doesn't have any buttons, but the band that goes around the front of the cardigan. And I still don't know which color I'm going to choose, but I think I'll figure that out when I get to it, and then it'll be done. So you might have noticed I haven't been working on this very much. It just hasn't been a priority, so I'm sure I'll finish it sooner or later. And I'm knitting this on 3.5mm needles, by the way. I just drop it on the floor with the yarn. My last work in progress is, of course, my blanket. And for once, I'm actually not knitting. I'm not in the middle of a square, so that's something new. So last week I said that I was going to start knitting along the top now, going up. And that's what I've been doing. So last week I was in the middle of this square up here, which is from Sternenstabwolle, I believe. This one is Cascade Heritage Silk. This one is from my Hermione's Crazy Easter socks, I think I called them. This is a mini from Felt Fusion. This one is my first time ever knitting with wool yarn in her silk sock base. This one I really like is from Shibot Ghana. I think it's called Born to be Wild. This one is a Malabrigos sock mini, and I think this is also from Shibot Ghana, but I'm not quite sure. So that's 6.5 squares this week, which I'm pretty happy with. So last week I said I was only going to knit upwards now, but now I'm thinking I will finish the row along the top, and then I will knit one row up here and kind of keep going like that. But I'm not quite sure yet. It's definitely growing, and I'm enjoying the Blanket Blitz Cow by Shannon of Successor Podcast. And that's it for my works in progress. I actually have some spinning to show you guys this week because my spinning mojo has returned. And for those of you who don't spin, it's not going to be a very long segment. But I've been spinning on this BFL braid for 4 weeks at least. It seems like I've been spinning this forever, and I showed it to you last week when I was still spinning the singles, and now I have it finished. So as you can see, I did a 2-ply. This is 100% BFL blue face Leicester from a German indie dyer called Piratenwolle. I feel like the camera is blowing it out a little bit. It's more pink than it's coming out. It's pink and grays. And while spinning, I completely forgot it, but this is actually 150 grams, which is why it is quite a large skein of yarn. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do a 2-ply or a 3-ply. And I tried both and decided, surprisingly, that I really like the 2-ply with the barber pulling, which I generally don't like that much. But I really like it on this one. It's come out very subtle, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. So like I said, it's 100% BFL. It's 575 meters after washing. So about a fingering weight, considering that this is like 140, 150 grams of yarn. I'm not sure what this is going to be, but it would definitely be enough for a large shawl. So that's perfect. And then I started a new spinning project, which is on the wheel, so I can't show that to you right now, but I can show you the fiber that I'm using, and this is from Fondant Fiber. It's one of her fuzzlings. It's called Lina. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's Mecha, Merino, Mulberry Silk, and Shimmer, and it's got these sort of whites, yellows, and light mint colors, which is really, really nice. And I'm just doing a palette cleanser sort of spin, so I'm spinning it a little thicker. I really want to have it nice and squishy. Maybe 2-ply, maybe 3-ply, I'm not quite sure yet, and it's quite fun. So yeah, my spinning mojo has definitely returned, which is great because in 2 weeks for my birthday I should probably be getting my blending board. So I'm really happy because I was actually quite worried that what if I ordered a blending board and now I don't enjoy spinning anymore, but I definitely do. So my spinning mojo has come back, but my work mojo is completely gone, and I've been knitting a lot in the last couple of weeks and I feel a little bit exhausted from that as well. So I'm not sure, I might have to finish a few things and then maybe I'll feel better once I cast on some new projects. So with that, I will move on to acquisitions. And again, guys, this whole month I've been having so many acquisitions, and it's not because I've bought much, but just because you guys have been amazing and sending me stuff. So I feel really, really honored because, yeah, the amount of presents and swaps and things I got from people has just been very overwhelming lately. And I mean that in the best possible way. So I guess I'll just go through that. So first of all, I actually won a giveaway. So I won a giveaway where a friend tagged me from Spirit Trail Fiberworks. And she's in the US and she has some really, really nice hand-dyed yarn on quite interesting bases as well. So I checked out their homepage. after I got these two skeins, and she has the most amazing colorways. They kind of reminded me of, I guess, like, you know how Malabrigo sometimes has really interesting sort of shades? I have to think of that. And what I got was 250-gram skeins of Nona, which is a heavy lace weight, and it is 50% merino, 25% cashmere, and 25% Bombyx silk, some kind of silk. And it is 300 yards per 50 grams. So this is really, really nice and luxurious. I think this might be the most luxurious yarn that I've owned. And it's called, the brown one is called Bison, and the pink one is called Pink Sands, I think, Pink Sands. And this is a color combination that I would have never picked, but I think it looks amazing together. I think this has to be a 2-color shawl because, yeah, I feel like I'm not very good at picking color combination, but when someone else picks them for me, I really, really like them. And guys, this is so soft. So I can only encourage you to check out the Spirit Trail Fiberworks webpage because, yeah, I was very, very tempted. And yeah, thank you so much, Jennifer, who sent this to me. Then I got 3 more packages of minis because you might remember I was needing minis for my blanket, and so many of you were super generous to send me some in exchange for a pattern. So the first one I got came from the UK, and first of all I got some tea, and in here is a rose tea, and the entire package just smells like rose, and it smells amazing. This one, rose lemonade, it just smells so good. And not only did I get tea, she sent me this amazing selection of mini skeins. She said that a lot of Bärenwolle is in here. My boyfriend immediately fell in love with this black and yellow one, which is from All About Yarn. I think it's actually one of the ones from the set that I'm giving away for my Crazy Color Curl. But yeah, these minis are just beautiful and I love them very, very much. And also, I received those 2 beautiful stitch markers. So, very fitting for the UK. I got a little crown and a stone sort of stitch marker, which is actually really light, so it's perfect. So thank you so much for that. And again, everything I received this week was beautifully packaged. I always rack open the packages and it kind of hurts me because everyone is so good at wrapping things. Another package I got this week was actually from the US, and I hope you don't mind, I just left it in this huge Ziploc bag, and this is all minis. And a lot of them are minis that or yarns that I've never tried before. So she sent me these amazing samples of Miss Babs yarn because obviously I've never had my hands on some Miss Babs. And I think there's about 10 or even more of these tiny samples, which is amazing. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I don't think they're enough for the blanket, but they're amazing. And like everyone keeps talking about these yarns, and I'm really happy to just have a little bit to feel them and to cuddle them, and yeah. Also, she sent me some beautiful hand spun. I think this is, oops, some hand spun sock yarn. Excuse the mess that I'm making. And lots of beautiful sock yarn minis. I'm not going to show you every single one, but as you can see, I have a whole bag, so thank you so much for that. And then I got a 3rd package, again absolutely huge, and it came in this beautiful bag. I like this kinds of bags. Again from the UK, and I got some awesome postcards from Tunbridge Castle and Kent, so the area of Kent, which is where this person is from. And then she sent me this whole arrangement of minis from Rosie's Moments on Etsy, and this is just gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I'm kind of tempted to not use this for my blanket, but make striped socks out of this because it's just so gorgeous. But I'm not quite sure yet. And then she made me some minis herself, which are of course beautiful. I'm not going to show you every single one of them. I got some lemonade shop, I think. Oh, actually, oh yeah, it is. I've never tried lemonade shop yarn, which is gorgeous. And then, really exciting, I got a mini from Nicole C. Mendes, who is a German indie dyer who I've been trying to get my hand on some for ages. She actually just had a shop update, I believe. But this is a really huge mini. I think this is 30 grams in the volcano colorway. So I'm really excited to try this because I've been trying to get yarn from her for a long time. But that's not all. She also sent me this gorgeous little package of teas and lollies, and yeah guys, I've just been spoiled. So just to give you an idea of how much yarn I got. So again, thank you so much. And then I thought that would be it for acquisitions because that was quite a lot. And it's all gifts. But as I'll talk about more later, we visited my boyfriend's parents for the weekend, and we sat down, and when his mom came with this little brown bag, and she had actually brought me yarn from the holiday. So the yarn that she got me is actually opal sock yarn, and this is one of the 100 Wasser colorways in the colorway 3202. And I was just so touched by this because she knows how much I like knitting, and I really didn't expect this. And of course, she didn't only buy me one skein, she bought me 2 skeins. So I asked her if she would like me to knit a pair of socks for her at some point, and she was really excited about that. Because I thought about that before, but I don't really like to force my knitting onto other people who might not actually like it. And quite a few people don't like the feel of sock yarn on their feet because it's too scratchy. But it's great to know that she likes hand-knit socks, and she also has quite small feet, so I think I'll knit a couple of pairs for her soon. So again, just really touching, and I really like this colorway. It says it's in variation of 100 Wassers painting, use public transport, save the city. So this is a picture of the painting. So yeah, I thought that was really sweet. And as you might have realized, the last few weeks my stash has just been growing. I've actually been trying to buy less, but I keep getting beautiful things from other people, so I mean that's awesome and I love it. And we're moving soon, so I will just have to have a bigger stash shelf or whatever. I have no shame in my amounts of yarn that I have. I actually really enjoy my stash, and there's so many things in there that I like to use, and I love the whole mini thing with the blanket. Receiving minis and putting them into the blanket is just so much fun. And I've been knitting on mine quite a lot, so I feel great about having a stash of minis. So, that's it for acquisitions. So I had an Ask Away question last week, and a viewer of the podcast asked about the painting with the pigs, which is right here. And I will go a little bit into detail about that. So if you're not interested in this, I will only be talking about that and life stuff in general after this. So if you're only here for the knitting, then thank you so much for watching. But if you are interested, this painting is one of many paintings of pigs by my boyfriend's mom. So she used to be an artist / art teacher, and I don't know when she stopped working, but ever since she has been focusing on her painting, and she also does oh my gosh, I don't know the word for it. She makes like prints. Anyways, she's a painter, and funny story is when I first saw this apartment, which used to be my boyfriend's apartment, and I was just here to visit, And when you go into the apartment, we have this little lounge area, and the first thing you see is this huge painting of a pig. And then there used to be a different pig painting in here in the living room, because his mom, I think she made a series of 30 pig paintings. So she painted pigs in all kinds of different styles and colors, and yeah. So in the beginning, I wasn't really sure how I felt about the pigs, but I got used to it, because I remember the first time when we talked about me moving in here with them, I said, yeah, the pigs have to go. They're just a little bit weird, but I actually really love them. And then I think in January, she had an exhibition where she needed the pig that was hanging here. So if you watch the very first episodes, you might see a different pig. So we did a pig swap, and we got this painting, which I absolutely love. So you can keep counting. There's lots of pigs on there, ones that you don't see immediately. And yes, it's a little bit out there, but I really, really like it. And we actually have this book from her that has photos of her paintings, so I figured I'd just show you a few of the pigs, because I thought that was quite fun. So I'll just quickly go through these because I think they're funny. So that's the water pig, and then you can see these ones. So they're all very different. This red one is the one that's hanging in our lobby, so that's the first thing you see when you walk into the apartment. Do you see why I was a little bit scared? There's these ones. And I think overall there's like 30, and some of them she's actually painted over, which is so sad. We actually didn't manage to go to that exhibition, but I would have loved to see all these pigs together, and they would look really, really awesome. All of these are really, really huge paintings. So I quite like this modern one here with the blue squares. I think that's awesome. Yeah, this is the one that is hanging behind me, or it's part of the one that's hanging behind me. And there's more. There's just so many of them. And I'm sorry if this doesn't interest you, I think it's awesome that his mom is so creative. And the one here at the bottom, hang on, I don't know if it's left or right for you because I'm filming. This one is the one that used to be in our apartment. So I hope that answered your question, and I hope that was a little bit interesting for you guys. If not, I apologize. So with that, I'll move into life in general. So this week, not a whole lot happened. You might remember from last episode that I was really, really stressed out, and I was working through the weekend, and then on Monday my work mojo dropped. I think before I was just running around and doing so many things, I just kind of had to stop. So ever since that, I've been working a little bit less, and that's been really, really good. I've been able to just sit down and relax a little bit more, but at the same time, when I'm not working, I often feel like I should be working, and then that stresses me out, so it can become a bit of a cycle. And we were going to go to Hanover, which is in the north of Germany, on Friday, but then on Thursday night, I think we decided to just already drive up now, because we were both not really doing anything anyways, so it felt like we were just killing time until we were gonna go up anyways. So we drove up to Hanover, which is a 3.5-hour car drive from here, and we actually drove into the sunset, and it was just so nice, and we had lots of nice conversations about what I want to do job-wise after I finish, and yeah, it was a really nice drive until at the very end we had to go off the highway and got a little bit lost, and we couldn't get back on, and it was a bit of a pain. But anyways, we got there and we spent the weekend in Hanover, which was quite nice. My boyfriend's parents are both very, very lovely, and yeah, I just get along with them very well, which is great. So we did a lot of shopping, and on Saturday we actually had our 2-year anniversary, so we had a coffee and we're going out for a nice dinner tonight. And last night we also, the four of us went to the cinemas and watched the latest Tom Hanks movie. I'm not actually quite sure what it is called in English. The German name was Ein Hologramm für den König, for those of you who speak German. But yeah, that movie was entertaining, but yeah, wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but it was entertaining enough if you're into that genre, I guess. And yeah, this morning we drove back down here. We had a good drive and the weather's been really, really nice. And like I said, we're going to have a nice Italian dinner and I can't wait for it. And besides that, I guess I have to go back into work tomorrow, or go back to working on my thesis tomorrow. I actually have a meeting first thing in the morning and I'm kind of dreading it. And not the meeting itself, but yeah, I've just kind of reached this point at the moment where what I'm working on isn't really something that I enjoy very much, and that has to do with lots of factors. I think I was just expecting it to be easier or less complicated than it is, but then of course when you're working with someone else and people have different opinions and you know, a lot of stuff happens up there where I'm just stressing myself out and worrying about things. It just becomes a little intense at times. But yeah, I'm hoping that tomorrow will go well. And with that, I feel like I'm just rambling on, so I'm just going to go. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if the sound is better this time. If not, I apologize. Thanks again to everyone who's been active in the Ravelry group. I really, really appreciate it, and I love that you guys write me such nice comments and notes and messages. I really, really appreciate it. Sometimes it might take me a while to answer, but I really try to stay on top of things. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all going well. Have a great week, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye!